The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll.
And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
For those of you stuck in traffic, I'm looking at you. Back here at Mark Camara's Furniture Factory, Bar and Grill. How are you, Wes?
Doing good. Good to be here.
I see the backup there. There's no reason to be stuck on traffic. Get off on Oakwood Avenue, exit 20, for those of you listening to me right now, as you're no doubt probably, heading home. But why not have some grub on your way home? So get off on exit 20, curl around here, and enjoy some food here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Game 2 of the NLDS last night. I wanted to sneak this in before we go hardcore football, as we normally do. So I normally don't pat our station on the back enough. I don't do that enough. I certainly promote what we've got. But last night we could not start the Braves on time due to Crimson Tide Rewind. We are, after all, a Crimson Tide affiliate. So Crimson Tide Rewind had to go from 6 to 7. And wasn't it nice of the Braves to oblige our listening audience to wait for the comeback until after we joined them at 7 o'clock?
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Iglesias looking into his catcher, ready to fire. 2-2. In the air, out towards right center field. Harris going to go back. Harris back to the warning track. He leaps. Michael's got it! He's got it! They fired it in, and it rolls across the infield. Taken by Riley. He throws to the bag. They double him off. Ball game over. Braves win. I've never seen a play like that.
Oh! Because it hasn't happened in all of Major League Baseball history.
So what happened? I missed that.
So Michael Harris caught the ball up against the right center field wall, up against the chain link fence part, threw it in, and actually it passed the second baseman and the shortstop. And thank goodness Austin Riley, the third baseman for the Atlanta Braves, had his head on a swivel and doubled off the man that was on first base, who actually went past second. And that would have been Bryce Harper.
Oh, wow.
Who was trying to run back. And, I mean, to his credit, it just, the only thing that would make it better, the Spanish version, right?
Duro este batazo, es peligroso la bola, hacia atrás va el jardinero y la tiene en el guante Michael Harris. Gran atrapada del jardinero central, el tiro a la inicial y se completa el doble play y termina el partido.
You did say double play.
Yeah, I heard double play.
Yeah.
I guess we heard Braves win. I didn't understand it. So I watched a little bit of the game.
So probably the front half?
No, yeah, well, I watched that, and then I came back out, and I witnessed when it went to 5-3.
Yeah.
And then they brought the damn guy throwing 98-mile-an-hour sinkers, and I said, this game's over. And then I turned it back on, and right after the game was over,
yeah,
and I went back. Well, I didn't see the last play. I got to go back and watch it. So I missed it. But
here's what Michael Harris had to say post-game after this was what he saw off the bat.
I just saw Castellanos put a good swing on it. I knew I was gonna have to make a play at the wall, and once I caught it, I didn't know Bryce made it around second. I thought he was halfway, and I just had to get it in before he got there. But I guess everybody was in the right spot, right time, and made the play to end it.
When it's coming your way, does everything slow down? Does the world stop?
Yeah, kind of before he hit it, I kind of played it out in my head, going in the gap and stealing anything that goes in the air. Wasn't trying to let anything come down after we made the comeback we did. I didn't want us to have to go back in and hit again. So just trying to do everything I could to keep the ball from landing.
You think your defense?
So that is a little bit of Michael Harris the second. He is the Braves center fielder, who I believe the Braves have locked up till 2032. So the defense in particular for the Braves has been sparkling all season long, and that very well could have just saved the entire season for the Braves because they go down 0-2 and you've got to go to Philly.
Well, yeah,
you're done.
Yeah, well,
you're done.
You might be
you
able
can
to
get a win, but
yeah.
2, that's tough, especially with Nola going on the mound tomorrow. By the way, you will be able to hear the Braves right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone tomorrow afternoon, 4:07 for first pitch rather. So we're going to join it just 15 minutes prior for their normal pregame, so that way you can get most of Paul Feinbaum in. So those of you that are Army listeners, so as soon as we're done with Braves, we're going to sandwich Crawdad's countdown to kickoff in between the end of the Braves game. We'll take a little bit of the post-game, Crawdad. We're going to take a little bit of the post-game either way, and then get ready for Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Can't believe that series is 2-0 Arizona. That is just bananas to think about, but it's also weird to think about the Baltimore Orioles, who've had a magical season. They are up against the wall as they are down 0-2 in their series as well. So plenty of baseball, and of course we'll try to squeeze in as much as we can as we're your home for the World Series with our partners over at ESPN Radio. Tonight it is Orioles and Rangers as Baltimore. It's a win or go home scenario the rest of the way for a team that won north of 100 games. So we'll see what happens for the Orioles tonight. Coming up on the program today, we are going to talk to Coach Houston Nutt here in this first hour and talk a little college football with the former member of CBS Sports. He has since retired and now enjoying life a little bit in the Dallas Metroplex. And imagine there is a few folks he knows that are Gig'em fans. It's an intriguing week for Texas A&M as they travel up to Rocky Top, and still trying to get a pulse on that game in particular, Wes. That game really intrigues me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it should, because Texas A&M can't quit talking about the Alabama game.
Just listen to Jimbo.
Yeah, so, and they got a tough road to hoe going into Rocky Top and to a Tennessee team, a very dangerous Tennessee team.
Yeah.
Hasn't been the quarterback hasn't been as consistent quarterback. Not as having the season they did last year, but still not having they're still in for this team has a lot in front of them.
Yeah.
If they just keep winning. Yes.
They've got A&M this week, then Bama next week.
Yes.
Of course, the Bama game is on the road. And speaking of Alabama, Crimson Tide head home to take on a wounded animal, which is the Arkansas Razorbacks, a 2-4 team. And I know saying that they're a dangerous team kind of get the eye roll there, but they're talented enough to hang with Bama. And this roller coaster ride that we've all witnessed for Alabama doesn't lead me to believe to think that Bama can just, roll it out there and just have a 21-point win.
I don't think they roll it out there, but I do think they're going to win by 21. I don't think Arkansas is as good as what you're saying. I've watched them play, and they're 2-5 and whatever.
Well, they're 2-4, but
2-4, and they play hard, but still not quite there.
Well, let's start off by talking to Chris Lowe from ESPN.com. He was in College Station for Alabama and Texas A&M. Chris, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. How are you, sir?
I'm great. It's good to be with you guys.
Likewise. It's so your big takeaway, and it's certainly I read on ESPN.com. You can read Chris's stuff, but how about some other takeaways of what you saw out there in College Station, Chris?
I thought it was going to be a good game. I thought it'd be close. I knew that A&M was really good in their front seven, which they are. And I knew that Milroe was going to have to make some plays down the field in the passing game, which he did. But had you told me before the game that Bama would have made that many mistakes, that many penalties, turned the ball over, couldn't run the ball, have a touchdown called back again, then I would have told you in that environment, Kyle Field, they would have lost. And so I think it's, and I say that it's sort of the backhanded compliment that they managed to win. And I think that says something about this team. It says something about the character. I think it's a team that's got a really good bond. And I know in talking to Nick, he really likes the way they practice and the way they go at it and compete. And I think that's what you're going to see the rest of the year. I don't think this is, by any stretch, his best team or most talented team, most complete team. But they seem to really sort of finding ways to win ever since that Texas game. And I don't think it's a division this year in the West that there's a great football team. And I do believe that pretty much everybody, Mississippi State may be a notch below everybody else. Arkansas has lost 4 in a row, but they've lost some tough games. I mean, you look at their losses, their last 3, they were in every one of those games for the most part. I think anybody in that division could beat anybody, depending on how healthy they are, how the quarterback plays, where the game is. But no, Bama's, I think Nick is pleased with the fact that they've been able to sort of stay unbeaten and not play their best football necessarily. And if they can clean it up, the schedule gets a little bit more manageable. They got 3 in a row at home. They got that bye date or open date before LSU. They've got a chance to be in Atlanta. I'm not sure a lot of people would have believed that after the Texas game.
When I went back and watched the film, the guy that's getting better, tremendously better in my opinion, is Milroe. He seems to know where to throw the ball. He's throwing good on the short routes, awesome on the deep routes. He just looks like he's playing better.
Well, he is. He's played more. That's the thing. I was talking to a couple of guys on the staff and even coach a few weeks ago. You think the reps he's got now compared to what he got in the preseason. They were splitting those reps pretty much 3 ways in August. I mean, they didn't even know in June who their quarterback was going to be. And then, he plays the first 2 weeks. He doesn't play at all in week 3. But he now is getting all the reps in practice. He started in, 4 or 5 games now. So he's got just a lot more experience, a lot more. And you guys know at the quarterback position, especially in the SEC, the more you play, the more you see, the more you're out there in tough situations, the better you're going to be. I do think he's getting more comfortable. Now, he still has to make good decisions. He made 2 really bad decisions in that game the other day that may cost him going forward. The play there at the end of the game where he throws it, the game's over if you just kneel down there. And then the pick there to start the third quarter. But to his credit, he didn't let that become something that just sort of dragged him down the rest of the game. He came back their next possession and they scored. He makes a really nice throw there in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown. So, yeah, I agree he is getting better. And I think more than anything, he's just more comfortable. The guys around him are probably more comfortable with him. He still has some limitations. But I'll tell you what, A&M did what I think a lot of schools are going to do is they say, all right, we're going to load the box. We're not going to let you run the ball, which includes him because he's such a dynamic runner if you let him get loose. And we're going to make you prove you can beat us throwing the football down the field. Well, he did that. I'd say that's probably the kind of treatment that Bama will get from a lot of defenses going forward until he continues to keep beating him down the field, and then they're going to have to loosen up that box with people. And I think then maybe the running game gets a little bit better.
Talking to Chris Lowe right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
Chris, they've been running this same run blitz against Alabama and doing the same thing since Tennessee game last year. And the offensive line, to me, of course, there are a lot of different guys in there, a lot of dudes, and started a new guy at right guard for this game. They just got to get better because you ought to be able to run against anything. And they almost popped a couple too, but it seems like, like Coach Saban says, they're not finishing their blocks. And their run blocking hasn't been adequate all the way, of course, going back to the Texas game. The second half of the Texas game, Alabama just is, even though you run blitz, you ought to be able to pick it up and run the ball. That hit one or two, and they haven't been able to do it. And until they do it, they don't have a chance to be a next-level team, in my opinion, beaten. But if they can find that running game and get better there, then I think they have a chance to be pretty good with the defense that's out there playing now.
Well, I mean, yeah, no matter what kind of run blitz you're running at, you ought to be able to gain more than 23 yards, which is what they got Saturday. And
yeah, 100%.
This is just not. I mean, I know some Bama fans have a hard time wrapping their hands around this. This is just not a great running football team. I look out there, and I'm not dissing anybody that's toting the football. I'm not dissing any of the guys that are up front, because I do think they have a couple guys up front that will play at the next level. I think Tyler Booker, now he's only a sophomore, has a chance to be a really good interior lineman at the next level. But I just don't see Najee Harris. I don't see some of those big offensive tackles and guards that they've had when they were at their best running football. That doesn't mean they're not any good. I'm not saying that. A lot of those guys were highly rated recruits when they got them. But part of it is, as you pointed out, they've had different combinations up there. They've had some guys hurt. I think Booker missed a game. There's some guys that haven't been 100%. And when you're playing in that offensive line, so much of that is continuity and cohesion, getting into a rhythm. And again, sort of picking up on something you said, if you pop just one, you get a guy through there, you pop one, you get him to the next level, if he goes 40, 50, 60 yards, then that has a way, too, of sort of, fueling your run game. And I agree. They've got to run the ball better. And, listen, Nick Saban knows that. Eric Wolford knows that, the offensive line coach, Tommy Reese. They made some big plays, and Jalen's made a ton of big plays. When you go back and look, I think I added it up Saturday after the game. I think he's, in his games that he started, I think he's now been responsible for like 26 or 27 plays of 20 yards or longer, which is pretty good. But you've got to be able to run the ball in short yardage. You've got to be able to run the ball on your side of the field. And certainly when you get down the red zone against some of the better teams, you've got to do it. You've got to make some explosive plays. And that's where Alabama, when they've been at their best, they've always been able to make explosive plays in the run game. And we haven't seen a lot of that. So I can promise you that's been a priority. It will be our priority. And I think they've, that's something that they will try their best to zero in on, because teams are still going to try to do what A&M did to them. And, some games you don't hit those plays down the field. Burton played outstanding. He made a couple great catches. If he doesn't make those catches in the next game, then you're hamstrung, because you don't have the ability. If you don't make those plays down the field, then you got to run it. So I still think they've got the ability to run the ball. They just got to do it better. And I think when you listen to what Coach says, he says, listen, there's some areas we've just got to play better. And one of those areas is running the football, which is offensive line, which is running backs, which is making, I think some of it's on Jalen too. When you get a certain look, one way or the other, you got to be able to get into the right play, against the right front.
Talking to Chris Lowe right now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Chris, I did want to talk a little bit about Georgia. Felt like Carson Beck that we saw something in the fourth quarter of the Auburn game, and we saw a lot of that in the Kentucky game. What did you see out of Georgia really over the last 5 quarters?
Well, they're throwing the ball very well, and they're actually throwing it more than they're running it. And I think, again, that's probably something people wouldn't have thought when the season started. But he, much like Jalen Milroe, he's getting more comfortable. They're giving him a little bit more freedom. They're not afraid to throw the football. They're throwing it early, throwing a lot on first and second down. Setting up the run in some cases. But he's getting better. He's getting more I just think, again, so much of that quarterback position is the guys around you. Do they believe in you? How comfortable are they in you? In the passing game in particular, getting that chemistry down and getting your rhythm down with your receivers. And, oh, by the way, he's got a guy that I think, if he's not the best player in America, he's in the top 2 or 3, and Brock Bowers. I mean, that guy is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw him, get the ball in his hands 20 times a game if you got to. Run it, pitch it to him, throw it to him, let him take direct snaps, whatever you got to do. But when you're a quarterback and you got that guy, he is the ultimate. He is the ultimate safety valve because you get in the ball and you know good things are going to happen.
Did LSU figure out something defensively in that last three quarters against Mizzou?
Well, no. I mean, they still gave up a ton of points. And I think there should be a team that if they're going to win, they're going to have to keep outscoring people. It's going to be hard from what I've seen for them to gut out a lot of 21-17 type wins, 24-20 wins. They're going to have to, and that's a lot of pressure. And Jaden Daniels is playing outstanding at quarterback. He's playing, he's playing better than anybody in the league at quarterback, and probably as well as, to me, he's in the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the country right now with the way he's playing. But that's a lot of pressure to put on a quarterback and an offense that you got to score 40 plus every game to win, and that's sort of the way they played to this point. We'll see if they can get better. The game this week, I think that game's going to be pretty telling. What happens this week? With Auburn getting the week off, so they've had a chance to sort of regroup after playing Georgia really tough. They're in Jordan here a few weeks ago, and now they go on the road to play an LSU team that I think still reeling a little bit on defense. I think that game's going to be very telling for both teams because obviously if LSU wins or loses at home, I don't see any way that they can bounce back in the conference race. And Auburn's got a chance now, when you look down the stretch of their schedule, to maybe get some momentum and win some games.
Yeah, they really do. But that margin, we heard it from Coach Freeze yesterday, that margin of wins and losses is so they've almost got to pitch a perfect game to give themselves a chance in each and every game, it feels like, Chris.
Right, but again, you look at your schedule. As I said, you got to win on the road at LSU. And that's hard. It's a night game in Tiger Stadium. You guys know what it's like to play there at night. I don't care how bad you are on defense. But after that, you get Ole Miss at home, a good Ole Miss team, another team that can score a lot of points. But then you get Mississippi State at home. You go to Vanderbilt. You go to Arkansas. You go back home to play New Mexico State. So over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, the schedule, softens up a tad for them. And if they can get to where they can win a few and get some more confidence and get some more momentum, I should say, then that last game, the Iron Bowl against Alabama, is back there on the plains. So this team, I think, all along, I felt like would improve under Hugh Freeze. They just offensively were so limited there early. That game at California, they were awful. Texas A&M, they struggled on offense. But to run the football for 200-plus yards against Georgia the way they did 2 weeks ago, I think it's a good sign for Auburn going forward.
Finally, Chris, talking to Chris Lowe from ESPN.com, and many Auburn fans are still looking at Bo Nix in a very longing fashion, and why wouldn't you? It's easy to believe and hard to believe all at the same time. This will be start number 53 for Bo Nix, tying him with Colt McCoy for most starts in college football. But this matchup between Oregon and Washington, size that one up for me, sir.
Yeah, and you talk about quarterbacks, transfer quarterbacks, two of the best right there. Michael Penix transferring in, Bo Nix. And I think that's where we're headed in college football. You better, if you don't develop one right away, you better be pretty good in the portal and go and get one. And I think the teams right now, when you look at the rest of this season and on into next season, the teams that can find those guys in the portal, like a Penix, like a Bo Nix, you got Hartman at Notre Dame, really all across college football. Caleb Williams out at USC. You better find those guys. But no, it's been a long time since there's been a game in the Pac-12 at this point in the season that meant this much. I think I read this. This is the first time that two unbeaten teams 5 or 6 games into the season have played in a Pac-12 matchup since 2004. You're talking about back when Reggie Bush was playing at USC. It's got a chance, and it should be a really good football game. And I think the winner of this game, now again, you got the Pac-12 championship, so there's still a lot of ball to be played. But the winner of this game sets themselves up nicely, I think, to make a real run at the playoff. And as we know, I think, twice since the playoff debuted has there been a Pac-12 team. I think Washington in 17, and then I'm missing one other. But I think there's only been 2 Pac-12 teams, Oregon, the first year. They have gone to the playoff.
Yeah.
So that part of the country has not been represented very well in the playoff. I think this year barring some crazy carnage there in the Pac-12, you're going to see a Pac-12 team in the playoff.
Well, if it is the swan song, what a swan song it is for the Pac-12. It feels like they're teetering at best. Well, Chris, can we call transfer quarterbacks the JT Daniels? And now that he's at Rice, that is what, 1, 2, 3, a fourth different stop. It feels that way, Chris.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, I think that's going to be the norm. If guys get beat out or new coach comes in and they don't like the system, those guys are going to leave. It's going to be impossible to keep 2 or 3 quarterbacks on the roster. I don't know. I mean, Ole Miss has got Spencer Sanders sitting there at number 2, and he started for 4 years at Oklahoma State. That's going to be the exception going forward. Is you're just not going to be able to keep 2 or 3 guys on the roster. But you better be just as good at going out and attracting a guy that you think can come in and play, plug and play right away.
Chris, I can't thank you enough for hopping on. We always appreciate your insights, sir.
Okay, guys, take care.
That's Chris Lowe from ESPN.com. We need to go ahead and take our first time out. Coach Houston Nutt, he is joining us next. Talk a little SEC football with the former Hog and Rebel.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Mark Camara's Furniture Factory, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. Let's continue our college football talk. It was always good to catch up with Chris Lowe, but equally as good to talk with Coach Houston Nutt, who's kind enough to join us. Coach, how you been?
Doing good. How y'all doing?
Doing real well. So you got some extra time on your hands? How much football are you watching, Coach?
Oh, I'm watching quite a bit of football now. I got 2 grandsons, so I spend a lot of time with them, but come Saturday now, it's pretty much it's pretty much football from about noon on.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. And the I know this is supposedly a down year in the SEC. At least that is what we're hearing nationally. How much do you buy into the SEC being down this year, Coach?
I think they are down a little bit. You know, I've had the privilege to coach in this league for 14 seasons, and I think it's down a little bit. But again, if you the thing about the SEC is it's the grind of it, and so the other leagues can say they're down, and they may have some truth to that. But when you play Alabama or Georgia and LSU and teams like that, you know, back to back to back, that's where the grind comes in, and it's not easy. So a lot of respect for SEC football. I just think when you look across the country, let's just start with the quarterbacks. There's a time when there's about 5 or 6 draft choices that were in the SEC league, where this year maybe not as many, but it's still good football. It's just I think it is a little down.
If there's one game, at least I'm circling, Coach, that there's been several games. The Tennessee-Florida game, I thought Tennessee had the edge, and that didn't work out. And then even the Arkansas A&M game, I had no clue about that, and that was that was a decent win for A&M. But this week, Coach, the one I just can't put my finger on for a pulse is A&M at Tennessee.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one to watch. No question about it. We're going to find out a lot about both these teams, really, because both of them need to win. Huge game. And, A&M played Alabama, very well, played hard. And, there's I know you go back and look, 3 or 4 or 5 plays, like every game, it could be a different ball game, a different end result. So, that Jimbo Fisher's going over everything and trying to get this game. And I'm anxious to see what Joe Milton does now. This is a big game. All eyes are on him as well. So, big pressure game for both teams that are wanting to win. So I'm like you, can't wait to see.
Coach, can Tennessee block Texas A&M front seven?
That's the thing. I don't think for 4 quarters, I don't think so. Just what I've seen. I don't think so. And they could prove me wrong Saturday. The way this ball bounces, you never know. But just from what I've seen so far, after about 5 weeks of football and watching all these games in the SEC, I just think A&M's front is really good, and I think they'll have a tough time throughout, for 4 quarters.
So what does that say about what Bama was able to do there at College Station, Coach?
Well, that's the thing to me. If you go back, you look at from the first game, and of course it doesn't surprise me with Coach Saban. So much improvement. If you go back from Texas, you look at that game, you go to the next game, and the next game, and what do you see? Because after the first week, I've gotten people telling me on the golf course, I got Aggies alums, I got Bama alums, I got, Arkansas alums telling me, hey, Alabama's just not the same. They don't have it anymore. They don't have it. I don't know about, Coach, they got beat by Texas. It's over. It's done. Okay. And then all of a sudden, today it's like, oh, Coach, Alabama. I said, well, now, it wasn't long ago now. And so I let them know real quick, y'all talk a good game, but here's what I want to say, though. Jalen Milroe, we all know he could run, but the question was the throwing accuracy. The balls that he threw Saturday in that environment, the one that in the corner of the end zone that always hits me in my mind. I ran it back. That ball was on a rope now and had to be perfectly thrown to hit Burton in stride. That was a huge play, a huge throw. So I just see a guy getting comfortable, getting better, and then the front. Oh my goodness, the defensive front. All of a sudden, they done grown up. They look like real men Saturday. And when you can disrupt with 4, when you can get home to the quarterback with 4, boy, now you're in business because you can go cover everybody up, and now their quarterback is seeing these very small windows that he can't get the ball, and then somebody's hitting him from the blind side and up. I mean, it's a long day.
So that's, Coach, to me, if you go back and watch the tape, which I have several times, Jalen Milroe played unbelievable in that game, considering they had 9 pre-snap penalties.
Yeah.
So he's always playing behind the sticks, and he's making those throws, and there's 3 or 4 of them, but it was his reads in the beginning of the second half when they started throwing the short balls, and he's throwing the ball before they're cutting. He's doing things he hasn't done. He was 2 clicks behind in the spring, then he was 1 click behind, and sometimes you still, in the interception, he hesitated a little bit, should have thrown it a little earlier, but other than that throw, he was on time the rest of the time and gets hit on all these balls. He's holding on to the guys downfield, made his move, and he knows he's going to get hit and still making the throws. He's grown up so much, it's unbelievable to me.
I agree with you 1,000%. And you said something there that I noticed as well. You know, he didn't flinch. He took some hits. He took some real hard hits. But that's what you look, when you look in this guy's eyes and you see how he responds, that's when you know you got a leader that will say, without saying it, hey, follow me. I know it's 3rd and 8, but follow me. I'm going to get 9. But you hit on something. I thought Tommy Reese or whoever came up with the game, I love the way that the ball got out of his hands early. Didn't give A&M a chance. Ball, boom, boom. And now, you know, it's so much easier to call a game when it's 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 2. You're staying on track, and now it gives that quarterback confidence. And now when he's hitting those little quick throws, quick, now he's got confidence to go make that corner throw, to go make that crosser throw, to go make the deep ball throw. And I tell you, the wideouts, to me, I didn't realize they were that good. I think the wideouts are very, very good. Burton can create separation, and he will go get it. So I just think Alabama going to be right in the mix. So my little group that did all that talking after the first game are gotten real quiet.
Talking to Coach Houston Nutt right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
So I'm on a bunch of group text messages with a bunch of.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. More than you would think, and there was a lot of chirping going on, and my phone. I'm feeling lonely nowadays.
Yeah.
A lot of lonely. Yeah. Nobody loves me anymore. They loved me when Alabama was looking sorry.
Coach, I did want to ask what you saw maybe defensively out of A&M in terms of halftime adjustments, and I know it's kind of maybe harder to read on the TV copy, but in terms of what A&M was doing defensively, did they throw a lot of stuff scheme-wise at Milroe?
They had a few things for him. I think, you know, Texas A&M is a good football team. I still think they're very athletic in the front. They move, and the thing I think if they had it looking back, I bet you they wish they'd had a little bit more instead of having the cushion early on to let Milroe just take those easier hitches and little stop routes. I bet you they'd wish they'd got a little bit tighter, and because when you give a receiver like Alabama has, what I call freelance, be able to just come off the ball, man, and that is a real nice situation. There's one thing when you have freelance where you can come off the ball and you know that you have a cushion, unlike when somebody is in your face and you constantly trying to, hey, I'm trying to work this guy to get up the field and get where I'm supposed to go. Mm-hmm. I got to do it in a certain time frame. I bet you they wish they would have changed that a little bit. But, you know, if you go back and look at it, I mean, they were right there, you know, first half, very hard hitting, very physical, and it wasn't. And they did a good job. You always go in the game, stop the run. Well, A&M did that for the most part. They did that. They'll go back and say, we got to stop the explosive play. We did a good job with stopping the run, and that's where it all starts. You got to be able to do that, but you can't give up, you know, the big ball.
Over to the East, it feels weird to say this is, of course, the last year of divisions, but the Georgia Bulldogs, it feels like they're starting to figure it out here over the last 5 quarters of play, the fourth quarter at Auburn and the last 4 quarters against Kentucky, Coach.
Yeah, that's the thing. These teams keep getting better, and especially the big guys, Alabama and Georgia, look like they're headed right toward that game. I know it's early, but I can talk like that because I don't have a team. So, but Georgia looks really good, and Carson Beck just keeps coming. He keeps getting better and better with each week. And of course, when you got a guy like Brock Bowers, my goodness, this guy is so fun to watch. And tell you what, you better get two or three helmets around this guy to tackle him. He's the most physical guy I've ever seen. I've never seen a guy that can just get so many yards after contact like this guy does. He'll break an arm tackle in a minute, and they look good. To me, they've gotten a lot better from week 1 to now.
So, Coach, I look at Brock Bauer, and of course, everything you say, they need to find more ways to get him the ball. But I mean, against Auburn, they had people on him. Against Kentucky, he catches 2 balls. There's nobody within 10 yards of him anywhere. And you got to be thinking, what? Did they watch the film at all? What was going on with that?
I don't know. And I have so much respect for Coach Stoops and the job he's done, and especially a defensive-minded guy. That was surprising, when somebody made a mistake. It's not 1 or 2, because you got to know where 19 is at all times, because he's such a difference maker. So I just got to feel like there was got to be some bust somewhere in there, because, like you say, it's hard to see on the TV copy. But you got to know where he is. There's no question about it.
Talking to Coach Houston Nutt right now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and starting to read more and more about kids heading towards the portal. Of course, we're getting to that halfway point, and I'm sure kids are feeling that itch. I'm reading Michigan State's running back Jordan Simmons has formally entered the transfer portal, and this starts that different part of the season, if you will, Coach. The one that I think we're a little bit foreign to, but tell me a little bit about re-recruiting your players in the middle of a season.
Yeah, well, this is, of course, I never did have that obstacle.
Yeah.
You always had to go to the dorm room if somebody was homesick or something like that, or unhappy because they weren't playing. But now this is a whole nother avenue with I'm not happy, I'm not playing, or I'm not playing enough, so I'm going to put my name in the transfer portal. This is a whole new deal. So, yeah, it's constant. Not only you're looking at other schools that have players that are unhappy, you got to keep your eggs in a basket. You got to keep your team together. And then I tell you, that's got to be one of the hardest jobs to do, is to be able to, because, let's face it, everybody's not going to be happy. There's going to be somebody that's second team, or somebody feel like I'm not getting the ball enough, or I'm not getting to play enough, and all those things. So we're in a very impatient time, and you can fast forward that with transfer portals and NIL.
So something else I wanted to ask you about, Coach. Coach Kirby Smart was asked about coaching kickers yesterday, and let me let you hear what Coach Smart had to say about coaching kickers.
Well, you don't coach kickers. I don't know if you've noticed that. I don't know. There's nobody in the country that has somebody that specializes in the actual technical process of kicking. You know what I mean? I think every team in the country that's got the financial stability, they have good psychological sports management, and they have all the people that can help him psychologically, which is more of it than anything. Mechanically, the kids, he's been good for a while. They all have their kicking coaches back home, and if they're not kicking good, they might use that kicking coach. But we use sources here that are more sports psychology path than what's wrong with your stroke. And so we don't have to have a kicking coach as much as we have to have special teams background people to help coach the coaches.
So I played that to say, how often would you even talk to your kicker when you were a head coach, either at Arkansas or Ole Miss, Coach?
Well, I learned when I was a player at Arkansas, first with Frank Broyles and Lou Holtz, we had an assistant coach named Ken Turner. Ken Turner was a tight end special team coach, and he coached very, very hard on step, footwork, follow through, plant foot. And so he was, to me, was a true kicking coach. And what Kirby Smart's talking about is most teams do not have that guy that has the knowledge of plant foot. Here's why your stroke's not right. You're missing the ball. You're not planting your foot right. You don't follow through. You're overstriding. Most teams don't have that. But when you do, it's a luxury. And so to answer your question, as a head coach for me, James Shebus was my special teams coach. Always did a good job. Always coached that kicker. So I didn't have to say much to him. I always wanted to make sure that he was feeling good, everything's going okay. And then every now and then I would love to put him in a situation. Okay, this is whether or not we run 3 line drills, 3 gassers after practice. It comes down to a 25-yard field goal. It's on you, kicker. Can you get it done for us? To put that kind of pressure on him, and usually he would make it, and boy, everybody's happy and building him up, and you want that guy to have confidence without question because, after stretch and after PAT field goal period, you don't ever see those guys to the end of practice. I always used to kid these kids, like, what are y'all going to do now for the next 2 hours, guys? And of course, they'd always coach. Sometimes they'd Eddie Haskell me with, Coach, we're going to go kick for the next 2 hours. I said, well, let's don't kick our leg out now. Let's be smart. But then sometimes I'd caught them going in there and watching TV or something, for 20 minutes. So they're always, a character. But I tell you, you got to have those guys. You got to have that deep snapper, that holder, that kicker, that punter. You got to have them.
So, Coach, just so happens this weekend, I don't know if my son is the safeties coach at Ole Miss right now. One of my sons is.
Wow.
And his neighbor is Andy Ritter, who was a kicker for you at Ole Miss. I don't know if he started then, or I know he ended up beating LSU after you left in the last seconds with a field goal. When I had isn't that crazy? And I wasn't going to even mention it, but now we're talking about kickers. So
yeah.
Who would have thought?
Well, the only reason I wanted to go here as well, Coach, is because you could make a legitimate argue that the most valuable player in Tuscaloosa is a kicker. And I'm talking about Will Reichert, who came in as well for punting as well, but he's been arguably the most consistent player on this football team, Coach.
Oh, he's been outstanding. And that's what I'm talking about. You got a guy like that is so valuable. You got to have it. And, man, he's been consistent, so consistent. So he's done an unbelievable job.
Coach, I know everyone's looking at Oregon and Washington. How much does that game intrigue you this weekend?
Can't wait. Coach Lanning's done a heck of a job with Oregon. And I don't know if y'all have seen this quarterback. I know you've seen Bo Nix, but if you haven't seen Penix play, Michael Penix, this guy, you got 2 good quarterbacks going head to head. So I can't wait to watch these 2 guys and see which one is going to execute the best and put their team in the end zone the most, because it's fun to watch these guys now. They know how to move the ball down the field.
Is there one kicker in your playing and coaching profession who was the best kicker for you, Coach?
Man. I've had several. I want to start with my teammate. Steve Little was by far the best kicker that I've ever seen. And he was a teammate of mine and who passed away tragically, but he was phenomenal. I've had O'Donnell. I've had several, that were so good. It's hard for me to, as soon as I say it, if I name one, I'm gonna be in trouble, man. You're trying to get me in trouble, right?
Oh, of course not. I'm just trying to give a little love to the kickers, Coach.
Hey, I love them all, boy, especially when they hit that last extra point. I tell you, a nervous one was in Little Rock. We're playing LSU and Saban, and Matt Jones takes us 80 yards to time up in about 55 seconds. And lo and behold, our bench empties into the end zone when Corey Birmingham makes the catch for Matt Jones. I'm going crazy trying to run down, tell him get back in the box. It's too late. We get a penalty. So now instead of an extra point to win the game, the extra point's way back, about instead of 15-yarder, it's about a 36, 37, 38-yarder. And, I mean, you talking about nerve-wracking, but thank goodness for David Carlton putting that ball in between those uprights. So I got to give him love for sure.
Coach, this past weekend we saw one of the gravest mistakes I've ever seen.
Oh.
And when Miami ended up running the ball instead of downing the ball, I haven't seen like that since the Giants did it, I think, against the Eagles. And end up losing the game. I mean, how does that happen? How does that happen?
I just, the clock is so important, and winning is precious, and it's just such a fine line. And that describes it's a fine line between winning and losing. But that game was won. That game is over. And so when it's over, usually you got people all around you. I always loved the clock and tried to make sure that we're going to take every second, because I was always trying, especially playing against Alabama, LSU, Florida, those guys, Georgia, we'd always try to shorten the game. So we were always involved in the clock. But at the end of the game, we always have somebody up in the box saying, hey, we take a knee now. We can kill this last minute, 14, 15, whatever it is, if they didn't have any timeout. We'd always have somebody, on that. But I don't know. As a head coach, boy, you got to keep your eye on that and know that the game is over. If we take a knee, period, let's go celebrate. And so it's a tough, hard lesson, man. It'll haunt you, because that's got to be a W.
Yeah. There are certain things that stick with your coaching career that may or may not be on you in particular, but there's no doubt that is going to stay with Mario for a while, Coach.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. You'll wake up in the middle of the night on that one. But got to somehow turn the page and keep going. Still a lot of football left, but that's a hard one right there to get over.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate the time you give us. Enjoy those grandkids, and thank you so much for hopping on with us, Coach.
You bet. Thanks for having me, guys.
That is Coach Houston Nutt, who's kind enough to join us as we need to take our final time out here in this first hour. Got open phone lines for you on the other side as we're live here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Did you know the state's top-ranked private school is here in Huntsville? What about one of the nation's few Orton-Gillingham Academy accredited schools? At Randolph School, our experienced teachers and coaches challenge and nurture students as they prepare for college and life. Our pre-K through 12 school includes Greengate School at Randolph, serving students with dyslexia. Parents, we know that you are your child's biggest advocate, and we invite you to explore your education options. Schedule a tour at randolphschool.net.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Clouds definitely going to be on the increase through the later part of the afternoon, early into the evening. Highs climbing into the upper 70s. Looks like many of us could finish the day in the lower 80s. Dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky through Wednesday afternoon. Scattered showers are going to be in the forecast. Looks like the best chance of rain, though, is going to be Birmingham and then points to the south. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, we got some lines to go over. We got football tonight, as a matter of fact. Jacksonville State, the Fighting Rich Rods, playing host to Liberty tonight. Liberty is a 7-point road favorite tonight down in Jacksonville, Alabama, as the Gamecocks, I believe, are 5-1 on the year. I want to say 5-1. They came from behind to beat Middle Tennessee last week as their midweek games roll on. So that is happening tonight. Some other lines of interest. How about Michigan is a 33.5-point home favorite over Indiana this Saturday. Alabama, an 18.5-point favorite at home over Arkansas. Georgia is a 31.5-point road favorite up in Music City, taking on the Doors. Tennessee remains a one line just changed for the Vols. 3.5-point home favorite, as that is all of a sudden ballooned. That was tight. It started at 3, it went to 1.5, now it's back up to 3.5. The Vols at 3.5 right now over the Aggies. South Carolina is a 2-point home favorite to Florida this weekend. And what else? What else intrigues me in terms of lines that are out there? LSU. The Bengal Tigers are an 11.5-point home favorite over the Auburn War Eaglers. Kentucky is a 2.5-point home favorite over Missouri. We'll talk some more lines with our expert here from Mark Camara's Furniture Factory. She's next.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
It's Game 3 in the ALDS. I'm Chris Smith. With the series tied at 1 game apiece, the Astros up big on the Twins, now 7-1 in the top of the ninth. Jose Abreu hit a 3-run homer. Alex Bregman added another solo shot of his own. Catch the action on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Meanwhile, the Rangers were able to take both games on the road for a commanding 2-0 series lead over the Orioles. And ESPN's Tim Kirchin says he warned you about Texas.
The Rangers are the streakiest team in baseball. You're not sure if they're going to get swept or sweep. Bruce Bochy said, I've never seen anything like this. But it's possible now they're in the middle of a really good streak because they are really swinging the bats the last 4 games. Their bullpen until the 9th inning had been very, very good, and their starting pitching overall has been good. They are a very interesting team when they play correctly.
The Rangers are just 1 win away from advancing their first ALCS since 2011. Coverage begins from Arlington in 30 minutes on ESPN Radio. In the NFL, the Vikings plan to place receiver Justin Jefferson on injured reserve with a hamstring injury, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Jefferson will miss at least the next 4 games, and the earliest he could be activated is for a Week 10 game against the Saints. Cardinals running back James Conner was placed on injured reserve with a knee injury, and he will miss at least the next 4 games. But there is some good news. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce returned to practice Tuesday as a limited participant while he nurses an ankle. It's opening night in the NHL. The Lightning and Predators knotted up at 1 late in the second period. You can watch now on ESPN and ESPN+.
Hey, it's Greeny, and the sports calendar could not be busier. Hockey is now back and better than ever. Great baseball playoff action, and we turn the page to Week 6 in the NFL. All that and more Wednesday. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
All right, I hope we pre-gamed last segment. All she does is deliver winners. That's all she does. We're back here at Mark Camara's Furniture Factory. Jen is here with us, and all she's been doing is giving us winners.
Well, that reminds me, it is time for tequila.
How are you, Jen?
Oh, I'm better now.
Always great to see you, Jen.
Well, it's always great to be a winner.
Wow. Yeah, all of a sudden, this balloon's getting pumped up.
I mean.
I don't see anything. Uh-oh. There it is.
Oh, there it is. There's the magic.
I feel like you stole my thunder.
No, all I was doing was giving lines.
Oh,
I didn't say.
Okay, that Jacksonville was going to win.
No, that you said that.
Okay, good.
Okay,
right, so
you've got the Gamecocks tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course I do.
Okay.
They're a 7-point home dog tonight.
I've heard that. It's an odd night for a game, though, don't you think?
It's a Tuesday night.
Like, who goes to a football game on a Tuesday?
We're about to find out.
Okay.
Down in Jacksonville.
People that bet on it.
Oh, me. Okay, so Auburn. Did y'all say Auburn?
Yes.
Plus
yes.
11. Did we say that?
Yes.
We like that. Okay, Washington State -3.
Okay.
No?
Oh wow, we have many picks today.
Washington or Washington State?
Washington Cougars.
Yeah. That's Washington State.
Yeah.
They're the Cougs.
Yeah.
Washington is the Huskies. So
the Cougars.
The Washington
the
State.
Cougars.
Yes.
I need to find out who.
As in cat.
I don't know who
Not
they're
as
playing.
in, isn't a husky a dog? So it would
Yes.
be the Washington Cougars. Does that sound right? -3.
Washington is -3 to Oregon. So
Does that sound good?
You like the Huskies?
Well, whatever the Washington Cougars are.
That's Washington State.
Washington State Cougars. It's right here. -3.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Well, the bigger
Why
game
would they
is.
do that and have like animals like that? That's confusing.
Yeah, like Mississippi State's the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Is that confusing?
Yeah, Georgia's the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they're in different states.
Is that the separation?
I'm just saying. It's a little confusing, don't you think? A cougar, a husky. Anyway. No?
Not really.
Okay, sorry. It's just a blonde thing. Okay. Moving on. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
So what's going on at the factory this week?
It's a free weekend. How do you like
Free
that?
weekend. No cover.
No cover all weekend. It's super fun. We're starting with a shrimp fest. Do you like a shrimp boil?
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so for those that are coming for bike night, we're doing that. I put in my order for all this yummy andouille sausage, 100 pounds of shrimp. Doesn't that sound good?
That's
Yes,
Thursday,
That's
bread.
Thursday. Oh, my goodness.
Doesn't that sound good? No,
Day
you've got
after
that band, the
tomorrow.
Chris Bell band, so that'll be fun. Kind of have some Southern rock.
No
Sound
cover?
good? No cover for that. Well, we never have cover for bike night, but for the whole weekend, it's
Yeah.
a free weekend, which will be fun for us. So we have juice. Who doesn't love us some juice? It has been a while. Aren't they fun?
Been a
Yes,
while
they are.
since
He's
I've
a
heard
great
you.
man. We love them. We always have a good show for juice. And then the Dalton Bush Band, which is, kind of, well, that is kind of Southern rock too, but it would be rock and roll, Southern country rock, all that. Does that sound
Yes,
like a
it
fun
does.
weekend
That
to
sounds
be here?
fantastic.
And it's cooler out. We've got all of our heaters. So we had those out this past weekend because it got a little bit cool on the patio at night.
Right now, it's perfect.
Isn't
It is perfect.
Isn't
yes.
it? So we had football on all day. We'll do the same. Is Alabama playing on Saturday?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know what time?
2:30.
Well,
Or no, I'm sorry, 11. It's 11. It's 11
oh,
this week.
well, then I'm going to put on a buffet. How does that sound?
That's
So I'll
buffet.
feed you. So if y'all come on, I'm going to feed you.
You just need to learn to say 11.
Yeah?
Yeah, buffet comes out right after 11.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah, it does.
I'm
11.
going to make this really yummy buffet, so I'm going to try some new things. So we'll have that for those that want to come watch Alabama football. So we'll do that and start us
And
off
then
with some food and
Auburn's
drinks.
the night game at LSU.
Oh,
So
that'll be
this could be
big.
an all-day thing.
All day thing. Oh, yeah. Well, football's in the house, so we're going to have football food.
I see plenty of baseball as well on the televisions. It's playoff time in Major League Baseball.
Is it now?
It is.
Football is my only language. I'm not very good at the baseball thing.
Okay.
So that's on too? Still?
Yes. So you'll enjoy this then.
It just started on October 1st.
Game,
Baseball?
I think game 5, 6, and 7 of the World Series will all be in November.
Really? Are
Yes.
they not freezing cold? I
Well,
don't know
could you
why I
imagine
thought
if
that was
Minnesota, they play in an open air.
Maybe I've seen too many movies, all these feel-good baseball movies in there in the summer. Aren't they like summertime? Isn't that a summertime sport?
Jan, they play all summer long.
Yeah.
But October's
all
when it counts.
summer long.
Okay, okay, all right. Well,
All summer.
I guess that's why we have it playing then, 24/7 around here, huh?
Well, she's in her overalls here at the furniture factory. How can they get a hold of you, Jen?
Oh, they can. Well, it's happy hour, so I'm here,
Always.
right? My cell, 256-426-1989, furniturefactorybargrill.com. So just call us, come see us on the web. We got it all. And Halloween's coming up.
That's right.
Pick
The
a costume.
28th.
Oh, my goodness. You know my favorite costume still will be and always will be the Paula Deen and a stick of butter. That was funny.
So,
Can you
were
believe
you
someone
Paula
didn't
Deen?
dress it? No! Do you think I would be Paula Deen?
You with the stick of butter?
I'm just saying it was funny.
That was pretty cool. Whoever thought of that?
Like she looked like her, you know? Like,
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Anyway, having said that, we're going to give out a lot of money that night. $10,000 like cash, like those guns. Won't that be fun?
That is crazy. Yeah.
Anyway,
And that's a bye
it's
week
fun.
for Bama, so you can just plan your weekend around that.
I mean, yes, it's a factory weekend, Halloween weekend, that's for sure.
There you go. And also, the holidays are right around the corner. Are the dates filling up?
They are. Haven is filling up fabulously. Rocket Republic still has some openings. Of course, we always have the dining room for those that want something even smaller.
Yeah.
So we can handle corporate needs, family needs, friends and family birthdays, holidays. We gotcha.
Thank you, Jen.
See ya.
Nothing but winners.
Nothing but winners.
Let's have
Daxville over
tequila.
Liberty. You better get your bet in now.
Yeah, that's kicking off in a couple hours. By the way, speaking of playoff baseball, wow, the Astros have opened up a case against the Twins, 9-1 in the top of the ninth. Yeah, the Astros have marched back in a big way. Later on tonight, you'll be able to hear Orioles and Rangers. It's win or go home for the Baltimore Orioles at Texas. They're in the Metroplex, and the Orioles have not fared all that well in their first two games on their home field. They're at Camden Yards, so we'll see how they play here tonight. But you'll be able to listen to the Orioles and Rangers, 7:03 first pitch there for that one. We have not given out the phone number too much because we have been guest heavy in a big, big way in the first hour with Chris Lowe and Coach Houston Nutt. But now is the time to populate. If you'd like to join us here from Mark Camara's Furniture Factory, 256-576-4977, 256-576-4977, the telephone number. Didn't play a whole lot from Josh Heupel yesterday as his Vols get ready for Texas A&M. Here's what he had to say on Max Johnson.
Not a ton of difference in them. Both of them were able to extend and make plays. I don't think they philosophically have changed what they're doing. Max is a guy that's played a lot of football. He's played in a lot of different environments. Does a really good job of taking care of the football. He has the ability to extend and make plays and throw the football down the field when the play breaks down or when he's got pressure on him. And so we got to do a great job of matching guys out on the perimeter.
We'll find out exactly how good that Tennessee defense is this weekend. But A&M clearly awfully sporty when it comes to stopping the run, as we saw last week against Alabama.
Yeah, they're good at stopping the run. They're good at getting after the quarterback, too. First of all, they got really good skill. And when I say that, I'm talking about their big skill up front, too. They're physical, they're dynamic, they're thick. They play strong. They're multiple up front. They've created a bunch of negative yardage plays in the run game. And that's given them the ability to go get after the quarterback. Second and long, third and long, too. So you got to do a great job in communication. You got to win some one-on-ones when you're in a one-on-one. Your double team's got to be good enough to change the way the line of scrimmage looks, too. So big test for us up front and across the board offensively.
So that tells me, how good is this offensive line at Tennessee? What have you seen out of the Vols? I know they've been banged up on the center position.
Yeah, so they've played very inconsistent. The only team that I think that the offensive line has been consistent, like every game consistent, is LSU's since the first game. They didn't play very well the second half of the first game, but they've played good. That's why they're able to score so many points.
Yeah.
And I think Georgia against they had their way with Kentucky pretty much. But other than that, they've been inconsistent up until last week. So it's a lot. It's just a lot of young players in the Southeastern Conference, and I can talk to Alabama and Auburn, and there's been a bunch of turnover at these schools, and they've lost a lot of their depth.
Yeah,
Alabama's the youngest. What I'm told is the youngest team in the conference. And I think a lot of that has to do, they lost 8 offensive linemen that were juniors and seniors. And those are the guys that, maybe they're not playing, but they're helping.
Mm-hmm.
These younger kids that are coming in, they're obviously dynamic. Or maybe they play for, maybe they're starting. I mean, a couple of them are starting at, one of them starting at Florida. They're spread out everywhere. TCU has a couple.
Yeah.
They're spread out all over the nation, but all these quarterbacks have transferred and left. Look at Auburn's quarterbacks. Might win the Heisman Trophy. So you just kind of look at all this and see that the transfer portal has affected the Southeastern Conference. They've gone after a lot of the Southeastern Conference players, and that's what it's. And in my opinion, that's what it would have been Auburn. In my opinion, Auburn's turn if they could have held on to some of these guys, because they had a quarterback. Returning quarterback is huge. and it makes you competitive to where you're going to win 8 or 9 games because you got a good quarterback.
My apologies for not announcing the Pick 2 winner until right this very second. Mike is your winner of Pick 2, who went Bama, none of the above, and 27 for Alabama. And, of course, Alabama ended up with 26 points. So the none of the above, since you weren't here Friday, Wes, was both Kentucky was a road dog, Missouri was a home dog. Your choices were Mizzou, Kentucky, both or neither. So, and there was quite a few people that actually picked Mizzou on Friday. And the way they started made me think
Well, yeah, I turned it on for just a little while, and you thought that there's no way that LSU was going to win according to the announcers. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, did you see that?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
And they were only down by 8.
All of a sudden, I just thought they were going to quit playing football there for a minute.
No, but they don't. And,
was that RG3? Was that the RG3 game?
I don't know.
Boy.
Yeah, he's RG to me now. He's lost all his.
No more 3?
No more 3.
Bryce is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Appreciate you calling in, Bryce. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Well, Wes, they did what we told them they had to do, and they won.
Yeah, I don't know if they were listening to us, Bryce, though. I'm just but, yeah, I mean, Alabama's.
I think it was Coach Saban,
yeah. Yeah, we got to stop the stupid penalties. The wide receiver, he played mad, but he did have a fumble. He had an awful penalty that was unnecessary. There was 2 unnecessary penalties that really cost Alabama field position, cost points in both cases. One -7, one would have been +7. So, if Alabama plays a clean game, that's not a game, really. They dominated both. I wouldn't say they dominated. The offensive line didn't dominate it, but they did. Their pass protection was better than it's been. No question, against a lot better than what they Texas was the best defensive line Alabama faced. Obviously, Texas A&M has a great defensive line. So I was proud. At the end of the game, I was proud of the offensive line, even though they had all those pre-snap penalties, because they're so young.
Yeah.
And there's 2 guys playing next to each other that had never played next to each other in a game before.
Roberts, got coming in.
And I thought they did pretty good. They picked up a lot of the stunts. They still too high that's why they're having trouble run blocking. I thought one time if they hold their block, it's probably a touchdown. It's a long run. It's a 30 or 40-yard run. Guy made 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah.
One time I thought the back cut way too early. Should have kept outside. Those could have been 2 big plays. It's little things that they have to do better to be consistent. But you cannot run the ball when you're in 1st and 15 and 2nd and 10. It takes the run game away. I mean, but I want to see improvement there. I think if they do improve running the ball, that this is a contender. But if they don't, they're going to lose another one, and they won't be. So they might still make the Southeastern Conference game, but
they're fully. This Alabama team with that defense is fully capable of winning the SEC.
Yeah, and the receivers are all coming around.
Yeah.
The receivers are what that was one of the things we were worried about. The quarterback, he's coming around. The offensive line is better. They still need to come around. But they're getting better. I think 74 on that, like they got Milroe killed again. I don't know if that might have been a bad call. But they had he went down. They had a free guy free. I don't know if they slid the wrong way or weren't supposed to slide at all. I don't think under that. You never leave. I mean, you never leave a guy like that. There's the best pass rusher. Nobody touches him. So anyway,
that's a problem.
There were some issues that weren't Milroe's fault that he overcame, and I think he grew up a lot. Saturday, and we just.
really
But you got to get better every week. You can't go backwards.
Oh, and that's what they're doing. That we said they're going forwards now, and that's what we needed to see. But one thing I want to ask y'all.
Shoot.
Steve, Wes, listen, down on that safety, okay, they were holding and intentional grounding too. We got 4 points.
No, I think. Well, first of all,
I wish the safety would be more than 2 points.
They did a piss poor job of holding. It wasn't very good, right?
So
I don't think it even counted as holding, but it was grounding. I think the defensive line needs. He threw it right at 91. I think they need to do some ball drills this week.
I always thought that a safety should be more than 2 points.
Yeah, well,
especially if they hold in central ground degree.
Well, you're supposed to go down there and score the next time. This is what you're doing. So you're kicking,
exactly.
and you're supposed to get better field position. And Alabama wasn't able to do that. So,
what's the word on the punter?
I think he pulled a muscle. I think he's out for a minute.
I
don't know if it's on his kicking
official.
leg or not. I hadn't heard that. That's important.
Yeah, it is.
Because he'll be able to come back faster.
Probably not going to ask Nick Saban that tomorrow, but I am planning on asking him about Will Reichard.
Right, that makes me nervous, him punting. Listen, I'd have somebody coming to find him. Right, it's hard on a kickoff, a little bit harder on a kickoff because they look down on that. Because then you can come out of their kicker,
Yeah.
But punter's a little different. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I hate to say anything about the referees, but my goodness, guys.
Well, I mean, they were too bad. I thought the referees did a pretty good job, except for 2 calls. I really do. I mean, that wasn't even a blind. You look at that. That's not a blindside block.
It was a bump.
But it's not even a blindside block, because a blindside block is when one guy's going one way and the other guy's going in a different direction. They were both running in the same direction when he bumped him. He passed him and bumped him.
Yeah.
It was an awful call, and I want to talk to a referee about it, because I don't even.
You want me to text Steve Shaw?
Yeah, and then
Again.
the roughing the passer thing was ludicrous. I mean, just was come on. And they're so inconsistent with that call, too. Yeah, I mean, he didn't get hit. It wasn't a hit. It was a brush. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
and on that
little flopping.
Holding, they didn't call holding on that pass play. The guy had hold his arm.
Yeah, but I don't want them to start calling that because Kool-Aid's the worst in the world at that. Go watch Kool-Aid.
They are allowing more air quote hand fighting this year.
Yeah, I don't. To me, it has to be very, very obvious. But I agree with you. I mean, back in the day, they call it on everybody, or But I can't say anything because go watch. They're all doing it. Everybody does it. It's almost a technique now, and it's almost up to the receiver to keep from that happening.
Well, another thing, guys, who picks the games for homecoming? You usually pick somebody you can beat, but I don't know. Arkansas is going to come in there and bow up. I think we can beat them if we take care of business. But
is that an AD decision? I have no idea. Who picks the homecoming game?
I think the band director.
Band director.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I have no clue who picks the homecoming game.
The band director.
I
have no idea.
Good football game, didn't you, down there this weekend at Ole Miss?
I did. Well, yeah, that was a good. I mean, Lane, you never know what he's going to do. He's a box of chocolates. So, but I enjoyed the game. It was a lot of fun to see your son coaching, your son interacting with the players, and then how happy they were after the game, and he's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve,
Anyway.
Ask you a question. You think he'd tell us if he hung out with Lane?
What about hanging out with Lane?
You think he would tell us if he was out there hanging out with Lane and all?
Oh, he would. He would.
I didn't even talk to Lane. I've talked to him before a lot. I mean,
I'd want to hang out with Juice myself, not Lane.
Juice can fetch. Although Lane fetches pretty good, I hear.
Yeah. I'd rather hang out with Lane's girlfriend.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I got older daughters than her.
I
know you can't do that. I hate to.
Oh, but you can, Bryce. You can now. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not.
You're not hitched, betrothed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thanks for calling, Bryce. Good talking to you.
Appreciate the phone call. Let's go ahead and take our first time out as we're live here from Mark Camara's Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Asha Karan Foundation's Ray of Hope presents a free community event on Friday, October 20th from 5 till 7 in Big Spring Park, right behind the Huntsville Museum of Art. This free community event seeks to bring light to our community's cultural diversity through dance from countries such as India, the Philippines, Tahiti, Japan, Congo, and others. This event wouldn't be possible without the help of our sponsors: Merrill Lynch Jackson Wealth Management, Huntsville Hospital, Redstone Federal Credit Union, Mercedes-Benz Huntsville, Morgan Stanley Polls, Mantooth & Keene, Torch Technologies, United Community Bank, and Keel Point Landers in Findlay. Find more information on this free event at akhsvfoundation.org. That's akhsvfoundation.org.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find him online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Tellurides, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
It is a final up in the Twin Cities as the Astros down the Twins 9-1 as they are on the doorstep of another ALCS, and they will take on the winner of the Orioles-Rangers series, and that game is about to kick in. First pitch at 7:03 Central Time, and you'll be able to hear it right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For that matter, we'll also have Braves baseball for you tomorrow afternoon. It is Braves at Phillies, game number 3, first pitch at 4:07 tomorrow, and then that'll lead into the coverage of the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers are down 0-2 in that series after winning the West, and all of a sudden the Diamondbacks have just been incredibly hot as they scored 3 runs in the first inning again last night against the Dodgers. But we'll see how that shakes out in the desert there for the NLCS, for the right to play in the NLCS. 256-576-4977, the telephone number, 256-576-4977. The telephone number, and been playing some audio from Josh Heupel, and Coach Heupel was asked about, in general, what he sees out of a Bobby Petrino offense. At least that's what we believe is the case there at College Station.
Well, first of all, I've said it already. They got really good personnel. Quarterback's a smart decision maker. He's able to extend and make some plays with his arm. But he's always got some balance in what he does, too. So we got to do a good job in the run game and be able to handle all the different pass concepts that you're going to see from him.
How good is Tennessee defensively?
Well, I mean, they look awful against Florida, and so I haven't really watched a whole game.
Yeah.
But they're inconsistent tackling. To me, they'll be tested. I mean, Texas A&M has, Anai Smith. So there's some guys there that can make big plays with their feet. And I'm not sure Tennessee can block. Texas A&M.
Statistically,
we'll see, they're favored. So somebody thinks they can block them.
Statistically, right? Tennessee is 23rd in the nation in scoring defense. And then immediately you ask, well, who have they played? And, I mean, even their schedule, Florida, Virginia, South Carolina. I mean.
But Texas A&M is not a lot better than those schools. The one thing.
Texas A&M's scoring defense, they rank 35th in the country. They average giving up 19.83 points a game. Tennessee's averages giving up 17.80 points per game. But again, strength of schedule.
Yes. So
I would immediately go to strength of schedule.
Well, somebody has Tennessee ranked for favorite for a reason. My inclination was to be to take Texas A&M, so that means Tennessee's going to cover.
So Sagarin's
That's usually the way it is.
Sagarin's ratings has Texas A&M 14th in the country. They have played the 16th hardest schedule in the country. They have Tennessee 10th, but their strength of schedule is 71. And that kind of goes to where I was talking about of even the fact that Tennessee statistically looks better on paper. Strength of schedule tells you something completely different.
Yeah, but Tennessee's still ranked higher.
They are number 10 against number 14.
4-1. To me, you look at this, Texas A&M, they're still talking about Alabama. They're a 1.5-point dog or 3-point dog now. I would bet Texas A&M all day long. That's why it has to be Tennessee, because that's the way. When the year I picked them so good, I would do the opposite of what you know.
Oh, the opposite of what I would say?
Yeah, no, not what you would say. What I was thinking. It works the same way because it's like they're trying to get you to bet.
Yeah.
On them. I think Tennessee has improved.
Tennessee 3.5-point home favorite.
Yeah.
Over the Aggies.
Half that's kind of rough. So, yeah. I think I'm going to go with Mark's picks.
So, Auburn, an 11.5-point road favorite, or excuse me, an 11.5-point road dog at LSU, and played a little bit of Hugh Freeze yesterday, but here's what he has to say on the LSU quarterback. And by the way, we don't know how healthy Jaden Daniels is. Had a rib injury in the Missouri game.
I don't think you stop him. There's too many weapons around him, and he's too good. I think you look at the key to this game is, can we hold him to field goals? Truthfully, no one has stopped him, and he plays so effortless. Literally, he runs 40-yard touchdowns and it looks like he's jogging, and yet no one's catching him. And his balls are so accurate to those talented receivers. I think it's a hard task. Again, I think to this point, and I haven't watched future opponents, so somebody will use it for bulletin board material, but it's to this point, it's the best offensive personnel I've seen in this league to this point.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. I mean,
too many people aren't going to debate that.
Yeah, their offensive line has played very well since the second half of the first game. I thought they played well the first game.
Yeah.
Didn't come off the ball very well on the goal line. They had thrown the ball a lot on the goal line since then. Not going to run it in, going to throw it in unless the quarterback runs it in. Although their running backs have gotten a couple guys back and got a young guy that's starting to play well. They're just to me, they have the best offense in the Southeastern Conference, and I don't think there's many people that would debate that. They have the best quarterback, the best receivers, and the best offensive line. I don't think there's no question about that.
So the injuries definitely played a factor in the last game for the Auburn Tigers, taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. Most notably, Jalen Simpson getting banged up, and Coach Freeze was asked about Jalen Simpson.
He and Keontae, were the leaders of getting everybody on the right page back there, and obviously not only on the right page, but those two can cover and have played really at a high level. And obviously losing Keontae was tough, and then him going out in the fourth quarter was very, very difficult for us also. And he has been an energy leader, fun for me to be around on the sideline, always cutting up with me in practice. He's been a joy to coach, truthfully, and has played really well.
Well, is he back? Or
that's what I was waiting. And the follow-up was not about his health moving forward, but I assume I'm going to ask Coach that tomorrow.
What happens, too, you've seen this a ton of times, guys playing on just an unbelievable high level, and then they get hurt, and are they going to be the same?
Yeah.
A guy like that, though, making the calls and doing a lot of things, his presence can just be out there, be better. But will he be playing on that? When people playing and that's when the game slows down for you. When you're playing on this high level, it's crazy to say that. But, you can feel it in other sports when all of a sudden everything just makes sense and the ball slows down and everything slows down. And you can see things happening before they happen. And then you get hurt, whether that be an ankle, a knee, and then all of a sudden it's not slow for you anymore because you're not 100%. But if you're making the calls, you can. It's better than having a guy out there that can't pull everybody together. So, be interesting to see if he plays, and if he does, how well he does.
So I don't know how closely you watched the Missouri LSU game. There was a touchdown by Missouri when there was a clear false start penalty. I mean, blatantly obvious. And the referee that was no more than 2 yards in front of him didn't throw the flag. Well, Coach Kelly was asked about that play.
So some of the calls near the goal line during the game, as far as from the official standpoint, I believe there was a false start before the touchdown. And
you want to get me in trouble? Is that it?
I mean, just what were your basically what were your thoughts on some of those calls?
We've sent in the ones that we have concerns over. It just seems that it's hard for us to see how those are missed, but maybe the officials look at me and say, how can you not stop outside zone? So I mean, maybe they look at the same way. I don't know, so maybe I got to put myself in their shoes, but you would think you could see a guy that's right in front of you.
So the reason I'll bring that up, because the LSU defensive line picked themselves up and were pointing, and then they snapped, to Missouri's credit, they snapped the ball and they were scoring a touchdown. But, I mean.
Yeah, so the same thing happened in the Ole Miss game, except it was the other way. They jumped off sides. The left guy that was in the slot, when they jumped off sides, left. It's clearly they jumped off sides and he left.
Yeah.
And the guy threw the flag on it was
Arkansas.
He threw the flag on Ole Miss. It was legal procedure. Same thing. It was clear as day. They're going to miss some. I mean, they missed the one out of Alabama game. They're going to miss some. You just got to think that, just hope it doesn't cost you a game.
Yeah. I mean, pure and simple.
In the end, what comes around goes around usually.
Usually.
Yeah, usually.
There's that karma thing.
Yeah,
the football gods, however you want to call them.
Right.
Did LSU figure out something in the final 3 quarters at Mizzou, Coach?
Well, obviously that's the challenge. We feel there's some light there at the end of the tunnel for our defense. We feel like the progress that was made up front is going to be sustainable. We're going to have to make some more progress on the back end of our defense. We've got to go compete for some balls that we think that we're out there for us to get. I think we are going to get better because of the experience that what Weeks is getting at the linebacker position. He's just getting more reps and more time out there. And I think we found a position that we're comfortable with now with Harold Perkins in terms of, it doesn't have to change from week to week with a new teaching progression. So I think there's a lot of pieces there that are coming together, and then I think there needs to be continued improvement at the back end of our defense. And I think if we do that, we feel like we're moving finally in the right direction.
Finally.
We'll see.
I would have loved to have known who suggested let's move Harold Perkins to inside.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it had to be bad for him to do it. I mean, so Cornelius Bennett played inside Atlanta, inside at Alabama a couple of years too before he went to outside. You sometimes you had other players, so you move a guy thinking that those guys would get it done, but I don't think Harold Perkins was any good in the inside either. So
no.
I think they moved the.
Maybe he was explosive against the LSU offensive line.
No, I think that they put him inside as a need thing, move him around, and then now they got the freshman that stepped up from Georgia. Is playing a little better. He's getting better every week, and they think that they can put him and move him back to where he's better. But Harold Perkins needs to be rushing the passer no matter where he is. He doesn't need to be in coverage.
The center position has been an issue at Tennessee and at LSU entering into this matchup.
Brian, this is kind of a layered question about center. Maybe an update on Charles Turner.
the decision to go to Chester when you did, how you felt he played after watching the film, and then what does that look like this week?
Yeah, I think, Charles right now is listed as probable. And, we had an MRI. We thought maybe he had a meniscus, but it turned out to be positive that he does not. So, we'll be careful with him. And we're, like I said, I think it's probable that he'll get a chance to play. Martinez has been really good for us. It just seemed like he was a little off snapping the ball. As you know, we had a bad snap down in the red zone, and it caused some mistiming opportunities for what we were trying to run. And Brad Davis, our offensive line coach, really is high on DJ and felt very comfortable in that situation to put him in the game. And when he did go in the game, he was good. I mean, he did a really nice job. So we feel like we got another 2 freshmen that is going to be a really good football player for us. And that doesn't mean we're not happy with Martinez. We just felt like in that situation, we could make that move because of the confidence that we had in DJ.
So Auburn heading to LSU.
Yes. And Bo Nix, last time they were there, played an unbelievable game that I will never forget. How well he played at LSU that day.
The one shining moment of Brian Harsin.
I think,
or did he? Well, I mean, they played hard for Coach Harsin.
I think if Brian Harsin, if he doesn't get hurt, Brian Harsin may be still the coach at Auburn. I totally believe that. Heck, you don't remember they were going to win they had a chance to win the whole thing.
That's right.
They were going to get back in it, and he got hurt against Mississippi State. They came back from 24 points, and I don't think they won another game.
Yeah.
After that, it was a whole different ball game, and then but Harsin wasn't going to last at Auburn because he wasn't recruited. He might have made it through that, but he would eventually not recruiting will get you.
Well, we found that out when what we have seen from Coach Freeze and the amount of transfer portal players. My goodness, could you imagine if the transfer portal wasn't a thing?
Well, yeah, but they also lost the whole class.
Yeah.
So pretty much 1 or 2 guys, so they wouldn't have been able to do that either.
Well, that last class before he got canned was, I think, around a top 20 class. Then, and I know it was a good month and a half before the signing date, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. I mean, hard to read the tea leaves there.
No, but all that being said, I think Auburn's in a better position now to be a very good team in the coming years. And not have to, their season.
Well, would you say the same thing about the AD position? Are they in a better position with Coach Cohen rather than?
I think so. I mean,
Alan Green.
Yeah, well, I think I never had a problem with Alan Green, but some of his decisions have to be questioned. I'm not sure who he was listening to. I don't think he was. But I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer that, to be honest with you. I don't know So an athletic director is responsible for all your sports.
That's right.
He's responsible for hiring your coach. He's responsible for all the money that's coming in or not coming in. He's responsible for so much. I think it takes somebody that's closer to that program to answer the questions how they did as far as I mean, I know they built good facilities. They've opened new facilities that was started on Alan Green's watch. At least I think they were. So I would take.
Well, yeah, the football facility.
Yeah, how financially did Auburn do in that time frame? I think they did pretty good. They redid their stadium, so they did a lot of good things. So I mean, it would have to be somebody. Now, if you say he gets judged on hiring Harsin, well then obviously that didn't work out. So that would be a minus. But I don't know what else he did or didn't do.
Well, remember, heading into last season, it was who's going to go first, Green or Harsin? The answer to that question was Green, but it felt like Green wanted some stability at an unstable job. and just tapped out and said, we're done. So, and then a few months later, so was Harse. Let's go ahead and take our final timeout. Final call for phone calls as we're walking you up to some baseball. Orioles, Rangers.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Clouds definitely going to be on the increase through the later part of the afternoon, early into the evening. Highs climbing into the upper 70s. Looks like many of us could finish the day in the lower 80s. Dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky through Wednesday afternoon. Scattered showers are going to be in the forecast. Looks like the best chance of rain, though, is going to be Birmingham and then points to the south. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I should come up sometimes, silly.
Okay, almost everything.
Come up, I'll tell you a fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 977 ESPN, The Zone.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights baton over every boy and every girl.
Final call for phone calls as we're back here at Mark Camara's Furniture Factory. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number if you'd like to partake. 256-576-4977 is indeed the telephone number as we're walking you up to some baseball action. And we've been talking quite a bit about some college football. The big one this weekend is in the Pac-12. By the way, I still have yet to hear from Steve Shaw. I know, pausing for the shock, but would love to get Steve Shaw on Thursday just to talk a little officiating with the head of officials on the national level with Steve Shaw. In terms of how big of a matchup it is, Oregon and Washington, at least according to the College Football CFP, the most significant game to be played through the first 6 weeks that will affect the college football playoff ranking. This according to ESPN's news and notes. And we're still, how many weeks away? We are a little over 3 weeks away from our first CFP rankings to be revealed. So there is still a lot left, Wes.
Oh, yeah. There's so many games left. Who knows what's going to happen? Teams get better, teams get worse.
But there is no doubt that Alabama is getting better.
Yeah, they are, but you got to get better every week. And so every week's a challenge. And you got a young team. And the offensive line has to get better. They're going to keep running those run blitzes. They're going to try to take chances with Milroe, but when he came out, the difference with the first half and second half was they came out doing the short game, and he was on time.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can take a two-step drop and throw the ball, and they're doing all those run blitzes on first down, and all of a sudden you start getting 8 yards, and then you back up and do the double, and the guy bites on, and you do a double move. They're still doing those run blitzes. You got them. I mean, they were rushing 6 and 7. And on the touchdown pass, Alabama picked it up on the one where everybody was talking about where he.
You talking about the dart in the corner to Burton?
Yeah, and everybody, they did a twist, brought 6, and the back picked up the outside guy just like you're supposed to. He wasn't the inside guy. The outside guy, he could block.
McClellan?
Yeah,
I think
McClellan picked him up, and they had all this time to throw. 10 finally broke around at the end and hit the quarterback as he was throwing it, and he was a dart for a touchdown, and that just builds huge confidence. And that's the best that the quarterback and receivers had looked, because they didn't look like that last year. The quarterback looked good.
Yeah.
Receivers were a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
And they're getting better. So now they just got to keep from getting some of those guys hurt that are making a difference. You know, Brooks is the guy that's totally disappeared this year. And you know, if you go back to the preseason where he was demoted, I think he was missed curfew or something like that. And it's been a tough road for him this year. He hadn't caught a lot of balls. And here's a guy they were dependent on. And number 11, Malik, Benson.
Yeah.
He was a guy that I thought would look good and he's made a couple plays, but you know, he was in motion against Mississippi State once, got a penalty. You know, and listen, if you're a wide receiver, you can't do that kind of stuff. You know, you're not having to block somebody that weighs 290 pounds that's on the edge and coming off the ball. You know, and you can look at the ball too.
Yeah.
It's just little things that they have to.
Steve Shaw just got back to me, said, I am stuck in video review. And I said, I'm about to text him back. I bet you are.
No,
I bet you are. So the NFL, apparently we're all in a Taylor Swift world. Well, so much so that some wordsmith, this is a musician, Allie Spagnola did this to the NFL on Fox theme song.
Midnight, come and pick me up in the light. Just meet you when I can show you and kind of we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them. You made a really deep problem.
So people just have way too much time on their hands.
No doubt about that.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
That ID that you heard lets you know that we've got baseball for you coming up right as soon as we're done. Can the Orioles have the first postseason win this year for the AL East? I think they're 0-6. The entire AL East in postseason play. We'll find out next. We'll talk to you on Thursday. No show tomorrow. Enjoy Braves baseball. Go Braves!
Or the year before. It's a better hitter's park, which really benefits the Rangers because right now they are really swinging it. They put in 11 runs up against the Orioles in Game 2 of this series. Boy, are they on it offensively.
You can look at the series in a lot of ways. Certainly Game 1 was a toss-up.